Merhaba, Jitara here. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about a phenomenon that I've recently come to observe in both myself and others. The self-fulfilling prophecy occurs when an originally false expectation leads to its own confirmation. Essentially, by believing in the false reality, you make it real. One example of this happening in history is the American Great Depression was a severe economic downturn in America that began in 1929. But before we can talk about the Great Depression, we need to talk about Let's talk about the banks and the fractional reserve system. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Banks actually don't have that much cash. You see, there is a common misconception that all the bank does is just hold your money. That is false, as banks actually invest most of the money that is deposited. What a bank does is they lend a majority of the money, and by doing this, the bank can generate profit through interest, while also supporting consumer spending, business expansion, and infrastructure development. And this is a good thing, as rather than your money just sitting in a vault somewhere, it actually circulates all throughout the economy, making our economy strong. And as a benefit to you, you can actually get interest from your money. However, this system isn't perfect. So here is this one simple trick that bankers hate. It's called a bank run. A bank run is what happens when too many people withdraw money from the bank and the bank does not have the money to support those withdrawals. Why did I explain all of this? You see, the Great Depression was a time of great economic hardship for America, and many people were understandably very scared. In fact, people were so scared that rumors started going around that the banks actually had no money. And as a result, a lot of people started to withdraw their money. Now, what happens when a lot of people withdraw all their money from a bank? That is right, C, a bank run. And these bank runs happened in banks all across America. And as a result, during the Great Depression, 9,000 banks failed, taking $7 billion of depositors' money with them. But here's the thing, some of these banks were actually perfectly fine. Because a lot of people believed that the banks had no money, they rushed to withdraw their money from the bank to save what they could. But by doing this, they made their worst fears a reality by causing bank runs which wiped out savings for millions of Americans. Isn't that fascinating? Because people believed in the worst possible outcome, they themselves brought about the worst possible outcome. Now bear in mind, this is an extreme example of a self-fulfilling prophecy. And it wasn't like people believing that the banks were insolvent was the sole cause of the banks closing down. But the reason why I'm talking about this is just to help illustrate the disastrous effects of the self-fulfilling prophecy. Alright, now I'm going to be talking about why belief matters. Your thoughts, both conscious and subconscious, determine the actions you take. So would it not be a reasonable assumption to say that the beliefs you hold on your own capabilities determine what you are capable of? To be great, you need to believe you can be great. The Wright brothers created the airplane, allowing man to take flight. And Alexander Graham created the telephone, allowing man to yell obscenities at each other from across the world. And a Turkish man apparently invented a steam turbine 200 years before the Industrial Revolution. But he only used it to spin donar. In order for these three great men to do great things, they had to believe in themselves. If the Wright brothers didn't believe in what they were doing, they would not have been able to create the first airplane. And if Alexander Graham didn't believe in himself, our asses would still be using smoke signals to communicate. And that Turkish man revolutionized the art of kebab. But Jitara, these were once-in-a-lifetime geniuses who revolutionized the world. I can't compete with that. But here's the thing. I am not telling you to create a kebab-based invention that revolutionizes the world of kebabs. But what I am saying is that you have to believe in your dreams. I know this is such a basic bitch answer that you've probably heard thousands of times. But it's true. In order to accomplish your dreams, you gotta first believe in them. Look, most people's dreams are actually fairly attainable, but for one reason or another, we kind of just lose faith in ourselves. At the end of the day, how far you go is decided by you. So don't give up on yourself. I argue that if believing in the worst possible outcome brings about that situation into reality, then I argue that the inverse must also be true. I want to believe that by having faith in myself and my abilities, that something great can happen. And yeah, that's about it. Hopefully this video benefited you in some way, and I hope you enjoyed it. But before we go, let's hear the quote of the day.
Nico, you're live with Stephen A. Real quick, go ahead.
Hey, Stephen A., I'm on break room right now. Where the hoes at?
Have a nice day. Goodbye.